This is At the Extremes.
Beloved, welcome back to At the Extremes, the podcast where we discuss the extremes in our society and how we got here. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Greg.
And I'm Serge.
Today, we're chatting about the week that was, but before we get into it, Sergio, silver lining.
You know, I've been thinking about silver linings, and for me, my silver lining is going to be that I got to go to jury duty on the end of the month.
The only person who I know celebrates going to jury duty.
Oh, how often have you gone to jury duty?
Once, and it was terrible.
I go every fucking year.
Really?
Oh, I get summoned. I've only been on a jury twice.
Oh.
I didn't get the first jury got dismissed before anything happened. I got to hear opening arguments, and then it was dismissed. You know what? I like it because it's a great way. I get paid like $15. I ride my bike downtown. I pretend that I'm actually going to try to catch up on work, and then I never do that.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty great people watching when you go into
Some of the best.
Yeah. So it's always a fun experience, and I feel like I'm doing my civic duty by going out and being a juror, and we'll see. Maybe I'll be on a grand jury or something.
No, that would be fun.
I'd be okay with it.
I got summonsed, and I got my summons, and I did not read the card. It said to call the night before to make sure that your number is going to get called or whatever. So I didn't do that. So I step in, and I was like, oh. I saw the card. I was like, oh, shit. I didn't call. I can just walk out, right? They're like, no. You get to sit here now. So I sat there, and we go in for questioning in terms of how many of you believe that death penalty shouldn't be a thing? So I stand up and blah, blah, blah. And so we go through this gambit of questions, and the judge asks to do one-on-one interviews afterwards. And I was like, what the fuck? I basically have tried to disqualify myself in any way possible. I've stood up for every single question, trying to make this as bad as I can. And she's like,
do you believe in slavery?
Yes, I do. Do you think that I shouldn't be up here as a female judge? Of course you shouldn't be. Get out of here. But no, so so she pulls me in. She goes, hey, you mentioned that you might have to go on vacation. Is that true? And I was like, yeah. She goes, you can leave. I was like, so all the other things were not disqualifiers, but vacation was one thing. So yeah, it's my only.
It's a wild process, though. I mean, because where I don't know how many jurors go where I'm at, you're in a huge building, and you are just shuffled through, and I think all the jurors I think actually they stepped it up. I think you get paid more money now.
Oh, good.
But they just have wads of cash that they're just counting out to pay. Yeah.
I did not see that when I was.
Yeah, you get paid. When last time I did it was $15, but they'll just three fives and then give you on your way.
I'm wondering what inflation has done to that.
I think it was 25 or something like that.
No shit.
I think the last time, I can't remember. I'll let you know in October or later in October.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Big ups to jury duty.
Heck yeah.
Mine's a little different of a silver lining. A dear friend of mine lost his mother last week, and we gathered over the week to celebrate her life and to tell good stories and remember her fondly. And it was really nice to be able to provide that support and
awesome, man.
To see his support network show up for him and for their family. And you don't want to use death as a silver lining, but it shows just how much that person meant to all of us, and and how much he and his family mean to all of us as well. So
absolutely, and I think it's with death comes togetherness and being able to remember all the good things, and it just reminds everybody hey, maybe we should get together more often than going to a funeral. And so, At the Extremes sends condolences to your friend's family, and I'm glad you were be able to be there and spend time with them.
Yeah, it was really, all things considered, it was really tastefully done, and everyone was in high spirits, which is as somebody who's super uncomfortable with death, it's just oh, what do you say? How do you say it? I was told by Judy, don't worry about how you're saying it, just being there is more than enough. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just really bad with. But I was trying to like.
You throw in awkward comments. How's it going there, bud?
Yeah. Well, so like, at one point in time, he was like, "Yeah,
Great, Greg."
Well, how do you think? She had not had her dentures with her or something like to that effect, and I was like, "Oh, your mom wears dentures, huh?" Like, just completely what I deemed to be inappropriate, and I apologized. And he's like, "Dude, like, it's what we like. No one knows how to respond to this stuff. Like, you're too hard on yourself." And I was just like, I always just feel like an idiot, you know. Like, I don't know, man. Death makes me feel like really,
like how?
Like self-reflective. You know what I mean? Like, how would I want someone to talk about me when I die? Like, do I want
people? Wouldn't give a shit because you're dead, so they can say whatever. They can malign you. They can say whatever they want.
Right, but I mean, like, how do you want to be remembered? Like, do you want people? Like, do I want people to be like feel like they can be goofy and like not have to mourn me? Like, but celebrate me? Like, do I want that kind of thing for people? Or do I, like, in my death, also want to be the center of everyone's attention and like for people to like cry?
I don't know. I think you're kind of a center of attention guy, and you want like everybody to go like, what is it in the Jewish households? It's like 3 days of mourning or whatever. Where you just everybody just has to cry.
Sit in the corner and look at my box. and while you're doing it,
those better be real tears.
Don't fucking talk. This is a mindful moment. Oh boy. Well, speaking of mindful moments, before I break down and cry over all of it, including my own death, let's take a real quick break.
Great transition.
When we come back, we'll talk to Shkado. Sergio, we're back. Give us what we want, man. Give us that douche.
Oh.
Give us that douche.
The douche. Douche, brah. Greg, we're back at it. We're back at it again, bruv.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm going to get us pumped up for it. So I'm going to ask you, how's your PMI? And you're going to look at me and say, what does PMI stand for? It stands for positive mental attitude.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so when I ask you, how is your PMI? You're going to respond, boy, am I enthusiastic.
Hell yeah. Boy, am I enthusisiastic. That is one thing you can always count on me for.
So let's try this out. Greg, how's your PMI?
Boy, am I enthusiastic.
Let's go.
Here we go. I'm enthusiastic.
Are you feeling pumped up?
Hell yeah, dude. My fucking, that immediately got my adrenaline ripping.
That's what I try to do for the soccer team I coach, and the kids just look at me like I'm an idiot.
Wait, do you tell them to say, boy, I am enthusiastic?
Boy, am I feeling enthusiastic.
That's what you tell them to say?
Yeah.
That's probably why they don't do it.
Nah,
yeah, it's too long.
I think they nominated me for Douche Kid of the
Week. Coach Sergio.
Douche. So one of the big reasons I'm feeling amped today is just because we continue to have amazingly awesome candidates. And by amazingly awesome, I mean amazingly dreadful people. And we talked about this individual last week, and today is no different. But we are going to go down to the Department of War.
Oh, what is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Huh.
So we are going to be talking about douchey Pete Hegseth. And, you know, for just a quick reminder of who Pete Hegseth is, folks, he started off as a Fox and Friends weekend host and did lots of awesome things of supporting the great leader and, you know, was able to weasel his way into getting the head of one of the largest departments in the United States.
Largest budget.
Well, I don't know. Is it between him and ICE now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's still an insane amount.
Yeah.
But why don't we just go down a trip down memory lane and just see some of Pete's famous work at Fox and Friends.
This is the right way to throw an axe.
No, it is all right up.
And this was a Fox News exclusive. Fox and Friends co-host Pete Hegseth aiming for accuracy and missing.
Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next.
And I think he
what
almost hit somebody in the
What
back.
you didn't see on air is what the axe hit, or should we say who? Drum roll, please. West Point marching band drummer Jeff Prosperi got hammered by the axe while the other band members kept drumming Ouch. But soon after, Prosperi was being interviewed by the very co-host who
All right,
nailed
fuck
it.
Pete Hegseth.
Sir, I need you to make
Not
sure.
sue me.
Yeah, not sue me, because I will eventually be running your department. So keep that in mind.
I don't know if the second one, has very much audio to it, but Greg, can you just describe what you see?
Okay, yeah, give me 1 second here. I got Pete Hegseth on a skateboard. Uh-oh. Hell yeah, hit himself in the nuts. And his co-host, like, cackles with this, throws his head back laughing out. That's fantastic. Dude, I love. One of my favorite things is watching dudes, like, just just nuts first onto a skateboard, the lip of a skateboard. Oh. It's one of my favorite things to watch on all of the internet, because it is just, I never not laugh during a nut shot. A nut shot's one of the funniest things you can do.
And so that just reminds me of the Idiocracy movie where the famous game show on it's just like, oh, that guy just got kicked in the balls. And the guy's like, oh, you got kicked in the balls.
So Judy and I watched that over the week, and so that's real fresh in my mind. It had been since maybe
I haven't seen it in probably
early
like
days.
10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I would love to watch it again and just revisit
I think
it.
it's on Netflix.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I might. Hey, any listener that wants to give me their Netflix password, let me know. So that's kind of Pete Hegseth in a nutshell. In a nutshot, but also him being a pretty ferocious drunk and getting drunk all the time and stuff like that.
He loved that.
So one of the things that, with Pete's background as well, is that he was a National Guard Reserve captain and again, weekend host. And he is such a douchebag that his mom even hates him. And, it has to take a pretty special talent to have your mom hate you. So
You gotta be a real shit human being, eh? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tonight, growing controversy surrounding Donald Trump's pick to lead the Defense Department. Pete Hegseth accused of routinely mistreating women for years by his own mother. In a 2018 email to her son obtained by the New York Times, Penelope Hegseth wrote, "On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say get some help and take an honest look at yourself." Penelope told the New York Times on Friday that her statements in the email were not...
Because then she got bullied to redact what she
No way,
said.
did she really?
I think so. And then she went
Pete?
on I don't know, by Mafia Don. Ooh. And said, hey, don't say anything bad about him. You could either do this the easy way,
we could do this the hard way.
or the hard way. Even that's better than Ted Cruz.
Yeah, fuck Ted Cruz. What a dick.
So he has his mom accused him of mistreating women. I think he was accused of sexual assault, being drunk on camera lots of times. And so we talked earlier about him being the head of the Department of War, Department of Defense, which has, I think the last time I looked at the budget, I think it was like over 50% of the whole U.S. budget went to defense.
Damn.
So that's trillions of dollars that we're talking about.
Jesus.
So Pete also was dismissed from two veterans nonprofits for mismanaging money and being drunk, and
damn.
So he couldn't even run a small nonprofit. And now we have him running the Department of Defense.
Yeah, it looks like here a group commissioner composed of senior Department of military leaders outlined President Trump's proposed $1.01 trillion national defense budget request for fiscal year 2026, and that's 2026. So discretionary, so which is a 13% increase. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we were. Oh God, they renamed it war.gov.
Yep.
What a fucking knob.
Yeah.
What a knob. Mm-hmm. What a prick.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing that's really funny to me with Trump's cabinet is that he really tries to get like a bunch of tough guys on his cabinet. And we're going to go kind of look a little bit more into Pete in his speech, because one of the reasons why he's been nominated is with this what he had called all the generals and all the high ups in the military for basically like a rah-rah speech.
Oh, yeah.
So the Trump administration loves to promote this kind of tough guy attitude and being in shape. So let's just really look at Pete just getting down and doing some PT real quick.
50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try to get under 5 minutes.
Thank you, President Trump, for setting the example. Presidential physical fitness, fit not fat.
So in one YouTube video was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth challenging each other to see who was more fit and who was on more HGH.
I was going to say, if not for all the gear that Mr. Kennedy is on, I don't think that either one of them are doing a single fucking but that's just me.
Yeah. So we talked, I just said, I alluded to it a little bit earlier. We're a little bit behind, but, and I'm sure maybe some of you haven't heard this, but these are just some of the great comments that Pete Hegseth had and the millions of dollars it costs to fly all these generals in for this speech that he gave.
This is a part one of like the part A of the 2-part thing that happened last week that we covered as well with Trump and the fallout from that.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to combat arms units, and there are many different stripes across our joint force, the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses.
There you go.
No more climate change worship.
There we go.
No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is.
Oh, boy.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force.
Can't even do a pull-up.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops.
Oh, boy.
Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
Talking mad shit.
And leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
I seem to remember a certain Nazi who said something about, like, we need to make sure that the fitness of the nation is like, fit, young, strapping young men. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then they had what, then we developed Captain America, right?
Yeah, you had to fight the Red Skull, was
Red
it?
Skull.
Yeah,
heck yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to get to this, but like, I don't know, the chief executive who runs the military, like at the very top is a fat slobby twat. So we'll get there, I'm sure.
No, I mean, there's not really that much more. We could go on and on. I'm sure a lot of people have heard a lot of commentary on this speech and bringing in all these generals right before the government shut down.
Yeah.
But kind of my final thoughts on it was just also to like he thought he was so fucking cool. Actually, let me go back to this. Pete Hegseth reminds me of the guy who like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite that thinks over the mountains, or the guy from Varsity Blues that comes back who's a 40-year-old. I played Friday Night Lights and I was great, and I can imagine him with a big old tribal tattoo on across his bicep.
Yeah,
all right, actually probably some swastikas too.
Have you seen his tattoos?
I mean, I've heard there's some
very white national. Yeah, for sure.
So the other really douchey thing is that it wasn't. I thought that was in this clip, but when he said, what is it? FOFA? Or FAFO?
FAFO.
FAFO.
Fuck around and find out. What a douche.
Like, Who says that in front of all the generals? Like,
these are people who do not like. They speak in acronyms, but they don't speak around like an internet
TikTok
lingo.
speak.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here, Pete.
That probably all went LOL, LOL.
Right? Yeah, like. I don't. You know, my grandfather was a master sergeant, nowhere close to being a 30. Where that level, and he didn't know slang. He told you the only slang I learned from him was bluff, which is bottom line up front, and he would say the bluff is you need to get the vacuum out and start vacuuming the floor. That was it.
Sir, yes, sir.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I learned how to make a fucking bed, bro. You want some army corners?
Got to teach me. You know what? I need to learn how to fold the bottom sheet. I don't know how to do that well.
Oh yeah, the flat one?
No, the one that has the elastic on it.
That is a skill.
Yeah.
Judy has taught me. So
okay, well, I know what we're doing after this.
Yeah, I'm going to take you up to my room.
Yes, you are. Put me to work.
Hello.
So, Pete, you're a failure as a man with the way you've treated women, and you're a failure at being a son because your mom doesn't like you. You're a failure in leadership as you are unable to run not only small nonprofits, but also the Department of Defense.
Yeah. But Department of War.
A department. Well, we're going to call it Department of Defense just because
I'm an originalist that way.
and the Gulf of Mexico too.
Yep.
You're a failure at being a decent human being. The only thing that you've really been good at is being drunk and extremely douchey. Because I wonder how much you practice FAFO in front of the mirror so that you are able to say that in front of a room of people that don't give a shit about you.
He's looking in the mirror. You can do this. You can do this.
You can do this, Pete.
You can do it, Big Pete. You can do it.
As he slugs like some gin.
Another fifth of a jack.
So, Pete, you're a good old boy, a racist, sexist piece of shit, and you are our douche canoe of the week.
Wow. Fuck Pete.
I mean, fuck Pete. And you know what? It's going to be interesting because we got to start figuring out like our format for the douchies and how we're going to, the nominations and how, because we got to break it up a little bit. It can't be just all of Trump's cabinet.
Yeah. I mean, do we have subcategories like the Oscars, like best screenplay, like best at killing people, most people killed in one single year due to a policy change, or
the best Nazi salute?
I mean, we've got plenty of those that we've put on this list. So, we're taking recommendations is what we're saying.
Yeah. So this can be a show. I had a listener talk to me yesterday and say, "Hey, I didn't know you can write in questions. You can comment, respond to us. We love to interact.
Send them our way.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's another douche in the bag. Let's take a real quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the week that was.
Let's do it.
We're back. It's been a week.
Hold on, Greg. There's some breaking news.
Uh-oh. Give it to me.
National Guard has just been deployed to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, boy. Well, that kind of ties in neatly to what we're about to talk about. Real quick, let's talk about that. Like, this is another escalation in the authoritarian playbook of deploying troops to another major leftist, quote unquote, city. One in which is overwhelmingly against the Trump administration and what they stand for and what they operate and how they handle things, but also a major flashpoint in the fight against authoritarianism. If you recall, I think it was just a couple of years ago, there was a stabbing on one of the main metro lines, a hate crime that was carried out. I think it was a Proud Boy who did it.
It was a white guy that stabbed two people. He was I think making racial slurs towards some Muslim women, and then stabbed two guys that intervened and killed them. And I think he gave the white power salute during his court appearance and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Portland is a lovely fucking city if you are there for beer, wine, outdoor activities. It's a great city to be in. It's got a real
food,
incredible food, some of the best food in the country I've ever had. And one of the more funky vibes. Mm-hmm. And until Proud Boys and, white ethno-fascists show up to your city, and then it becomes, this is really just about like retribution for Trump and the George Floyd protests that were happening outside of the police station out there. This is all this is about for him. So it's really scary. Another escalation in police. Did you see the Signalgate thing that came out of it with Stephen Miller? So Stephen Miller was in this Signal chat. It got leaked that they were sending the 82nd Air Force Airborne, which is an elite fighting force in the Army. Not like a special forces, but they're one of the most decorated units in the Army's history.
What a waste of resources. They talk about like government efficiency, and yet you're sending out the elite combat troops into cities that don't need elite combat troops to be in there. And I think a lot of the time it's just protests going on. I think they took over a federal building at one point, but police had it under control, and they do not need military troops invading their city.
This is a simple calculus that you and I both have recognized. The influx of additional force like that.
You lost me at calculus.
I know my calculus. That's a deep cut. But no, if you add if you're an aggressive force that Trump is throwing in there, it's only going to make things worse. Which is what he wants.
Yeah,
which is what the administration wants.
He wants to punish any kind of blue state that has had any kind of usage of First Amendment rights, and is going to do everything possible to, like, with all the funding cuts towards like capital projects in New York and other they're withholding billions of dollars for mass transit,
environmental protections, all sorts,
to punish blue states
because they didn't vote for him.
Because they didn't vote for him.
Like, how's that not authoritarianism? I don't know how it's not. But,
no collusion. No collusion, folks.
Now I'm really fired up, so let's get after it. This is what initially got me fired up this week, and I wanted to really quickly touch on it. I read an article in the Ken Klippenstein Substack. I've linked to it in the show notes. The piece is about National Security Presidential Memorandum Number 7. I highly recommend you read it. But at a high level, President Trump directs the Justice Department, the FBI, and other national security agencies and departments to fight his version of political violence in America, retooling a network of joint terrorism task force to focus on, quote, leftist political violence in America. The vast counterterrorism army, made up of federal, state, and local agents, would, as Trump aide Stephen Miller said, form the, quote, central hub of that effort. NSPM 7 directs a new national strategy to disrupt any individual groups that, quote, foment political violence, including before they result in violent political acts. The Trump administration is only targeting organizations or groups, but even individuals and entities whom NSPM 7 says can be identified. And here are the things that are indicators of, quote, violence: anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on immigration, extremism on race, extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold, quote, traditional American views on family, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on morality. What does that mean for you, Sergio? Like, when you hear that, what does that mean for you?
These are just such broad statements, and it makes me think that they're trying to close me into a box of, a white Christian family that is pro-life, that is, gonna be out for the 4th of July parade that goes on, that that is anti anybody else, and is gonna just accept anything that the dear leader says.
When I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, and you touched,
and no gay people.
Well, yeah, of course. I think that's the byline that was on this act, or this fucking order that he wrote. But I was thinking about just the language of it. It is all encompassing. To be anti-Christian is to be what? To be atheist, to be agnostic, to be Muslim, to be Jewish, to be...
Yeah.
What does that mean? To be anti-capitalism, does that mean the original form of capitalism? Does that mean our perverted version that we have now? Unregulated capitalism, regulated capitalism? What are the terms here? Anti-Americanism, how do you define anti-Americanism? Does that mean not telling the full story of our history, or does that mean to say that you want the government to be, changed to be more representative?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And so, what to me, in my mind, it indicates to me that the net is about to get a lot wider, and with what we just heard breaking, that's scary. Mm-hmm. Very scary.
Well, I guess the only thing Portland's got going for it, it's like a super white city, so...
Yeah, they're not going to kill a whole lot of people. just enough to send the message to the rest of the whites. Whites, we're coming for you. We came from Portland, which is the whitest city next to the other Portland, Maine. Yeah, I don't know, man. What is a traditional American view on family or religion or morality? What does that mean? And if you're Trump and you're the Department of Homeland Security or whatever, like, did you see the meme video that they posted about when all the immigrants are gone, and it was like a flashback to the 80s like video where they had like people in spandex, and like it was just it made my nostalgia brain tickle, but then I was like, oh, they're using
to keep kids off drugs.
Yeah. It was really shaking. Because, the other thing, I messaged this over to He Who Shall Not Be Named, and he was like, I've not even heard of this. What is the NSPM? And I was like, oh, well, it's one of the more nefarious documents that this administration has put out. So we should probably get to know it and get to know it well.
Maybe I'll be replacing the Constitution.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's anyway. That's going to set us up for the second part. This is the second part isn't as bad. So real quick, we'll take a real quick break, and then we'll tuck into what originally pissed me off about the week. We're back. This week, one of the second thing that made me angry this week is what is happening to my most favorite thing that is in our country, and what the administration is doing to fuck it all up for us and future generations, and that is the U.S. National Park Service.
Teddy Roosevelt would be really upset.
I'm pissed with him too. The government shut down, and everyone understands that there are knock-on effects as a result, and so the parks are closed right now. But the one thing that I'd be really worried about is them reopening. Before we get into what made me angry, we're going to talk a little bit about the background of the park system, because I think it's important. It's a really, it's, to me, again, it is the crown jewel in everything that we've ever paid for as Americans in terms of the tax system. So I think it's important to know about it. Before we get into that, I've got a clip for you.
Let's do it.
It's one of my favorite clips. It is a Baltimore native reporter in Montana or Wyoming, and his reaction.
Montana 3. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no, I ain't messing with you. Oh no.
So it's a reporter at Yellowstone, and he's a black man, and he is not happy with the shape of that bison that was making its way to him.
And you know what? Good on him, because any kind of 1,000-pound animal walking towards you, that is a good survival instinct to go the other way and get in your car.
Mm-hmm. It's actually, remember I was telling you about like the balls, getting hit in the balls thing was one of my, also watching people get hit by wild animals at national parks is my other favorite thing to watch.
Oh, it's so good.
You get everything you deserve.
I don't understand what people are thinking when they go out there and like a moose charges them and just
Yeah.
destroys their face. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
You're trying to stare down a fucking a bulldozer on stilts? What are you thinking?
With bones popping out of its head that it
Right.
just will stab you.
Yeah, that is my favorite thing. There was an old woman who got gored by a bison. But you know what she was doing? That dumb asshole was like, they were like, stop, stop, stop. And she was just kept on walking, got as close as she could to take a picture with her phone, right through her stomach. And you know what? She deserved it. She got what she was coming her way.
When I went to Yellowstone and you see the signs, stay on the walkway because these are geothermic pools. And if you step out, you will die. It's crazy.
Let's move on, though. Here's a quick primer of the national parks and how we got them. 1872, Congress establishes the Yellowstone National Park in the territories of Montana and Wyoming as a, quote, public place or pleasuring ground for the benefit and enjoyment of its people, and placed it under exclusive control of the Secretary of the Interior. The founding of Yellowstone began a worldwide national park.
Can you tell me more about this pleasuring ground?
What part of Yellowstone is that at? Is
that where the sodomites like to hang out?
I think that's where the sodomites and Yellowstone and Yosemite, they call it Yosemite.
That was one of my favorite ways he's ever pronounced a word. Yosemite. What a fucking dildo. 1916 comes around, though. Woodrow Wilson signs and the act creating the NPS, the National Park Service, a new federal bureau within the Department of the Interior.
Oh, Klansman Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, look, Teddy Roosevelt, real piece of shit. Woodrow Wilson, real piece of shit. Did some pretty decent things with the park system, though. Like Nixon, piece of shit. EPA. Like, how do you balance that? Like, wanted to destroy American democracy, but also gave us the EPA. You know? 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
You can't repress people if everybody just dies. So
yeah, you got to keep them alive somehow.
Yeah,
keep that in mind, Donald.
So then you can
continue to oppress them. Yeah. But no, so the act he signs in 1916 states that the service thus established shall promote and regulate the use of federal areas known as national parks, monuments, and reservations by such means and measures as conform to the fundamental purpose of the said parks, monuments, and reservations, which purpose is to conserve the scenery and natural and historical objects there found within. Right? Like, that's a pretty, like, it's our history, all of it.
And I think one of the big things for me as well is that the whole goal too with the national parks is to try to keep them affordable so that all people could enjoy them. So it wasn't just something for elites.
Yes.
So it's the common person could go and see like these beautiful rock formations or mountains or volcanoes.
That's right. 100%. The act preserved natural spaces for generations to come and has allowed for places like Joshua Tree National Park, Arches National Park, and Glacier National Park to exist and for us to be good stewards of those national parks.
Quick question, Greg.
Yeah.
What's your favorite national park?
Yosemite. Yosemite National Park, they call it. No, I'm a big fan of Yosemite, man. It was one of the most recent ones I've been to, but I think it was on my bucket list of things to see before I died, so I'm going to go with Crater Lake.
That's
what an incredible... coming around the corner and seeing just this massive expanse, it was like, how is this real?
Yeah.
How is this real? It took my breath away. I've cried a lot in the woods, mostly because I forgot my medication, but
not in the areas where you're self pleasuring and
no, not in Glacier Park where I was self pleasuring. But it's it really one of those most stunning things I've ever seen. What about you?
It's hard because there's such stark differences between different areas in the United States, but I love the Grand Tetons. I think are
in Idaho, or those
those are Wyoming. I think
Sawtooth are in Idaho. Sorry,
and I the arches are amazing, and the Grand Canyon. Just going down the Grand Canyon, you just look at that. Just the views are just. They're incredible, and just the chance to be able to go in there, or even seeing like Old Faithful. Take
a look at that bottle. It's got a bunch of spots for all the national parks on it.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you
Yeah.
put a sticker for the ones that you've gone to?
Parks in the USA.
Oh, awesome. It's
Dude.
like a canteen passport.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's like a, you know, how some people have like the maps where they pin where they've been to. This is just another really cool way of doing it.
So what I'm going to do after this conversation on my Instagram handle, I'm going to put a survey on for people to
Yeah, I like that.
to list their favorite national parks or
Hell
take
yeah.
a poll or whatever. Or
Hell
maybe we can
yeah.
do a poll on the Blue Sky too.
I like it. We can do it on both.
Yeah.
Cross pollinate.
And just see what some of the listeners
What their favorites are.
What their favorites are.
I mean, I've known some folks who've done Acadia. They said that that's incredible.
I've never been. That's on my list to try to get up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, Acadia would be brilliant. Yeah, I mean,
We should go.
I've heard a lot of really good things about Arches. You've said you've been to Arches, right?
Yes.
It's pretty. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that really brings me so much joy to be paying into and to be able to visit and for it to be free to all Americans all of the time. It's incredible. And the one thing that, you know, I kind of had an inkling on, but fully noticed it this week and fully got a deep dive on it was that the history behind the national park system is quite racist, in fact. It's basically white flight for at the national forest level. So we've done episodes on ecofascism, and so you can see episodes 7 through 12 for more on the deep dive on that. But the movement has been there for a really long time, an ever-present danger for groups like the Pine Tree Riots. We've talked about them, what they all pose to us. But I'd like to introduce you to a dopey twat who would be running Trump's Department of the Interior if he were alive today. Madison Grant's the name, and being a racist pile of shit is his game. The other part of his game, which is what makes him a complicated figure for us outdoor enthusiasts, is that Grant was obsessed with preserving wildlife and conservation of those species within those spaces. Grant helped to found an organization called Save the Redwood League, which still exists today and does incredible work in saving the redwoods. Grant also helped to found the Bronx Zoo.
Okay.
Which, if you know, I don't know how you feel about zoos, but I'm not a zoo guy. I don't really believe that Americans should ever see a tiger. There's no reason for that. But whatever, that's just my own little bugaboo. But he was also a pioneer in the field of wildlife management. And as Dr. Erebelding, author of the book Rescue Board, The Untold Story of America's Efforts to Save Jews in Europe, put it, Grant took his knowledge of nature and conservation and applied it to human beings. Quote, in his seminal book, The Passing of the Great Race, American eugenicist? Is it eugenicist? Sure. Okay. Madison Grant warned the superior, quote, Nordic races from Northern and Western Europe were headed towards racial suicide. In control of the growth of inferior races, Grant advocated for governments to be able to forcibly sterilize people against their will and other extreme measures like killing them. To preserve the Nordic race, Grant wrote, man has to choose between two methods of race improvement. He can breed the best or he can eliminate the worst by segregation or sterilization. Grant had a lot of fans during this period of time, and his biggest, Adolf Hitler, wrote Grant a letter calling Grant's book, Hitler said that his book was his own personal Bible. So Grant wrote Hitler's Bible. So that's what we're dealing with when it comes to one of the fathers of our national park system.
Mein father.
Mein daddy. Yeah, dude. I was really surprised to find out just how racist all the people who started the National Park Service really were.
Isn't that big of a surprise, though, because it feels like a majority of people that founded anything back in the day were all pretty racist.
Yeah, I guess if you're in a place to establish laws and things, you were probably a pretty racist human being back then.
Just even thinking about like all the Native Americans that were probably on those lands before they all got removed.
Oh, we're going to get to that. We've touched on it before, but medium.com helps us connect the dots between the past and the present when they wrote, quote, in part because of its connection to Nazism, eugenics lost its popularity in the 1930s. And eugenics, again, being the set of beliefs and practices to help improve genetic quality of a species, specifically in our case, the human species, Grant was in favor of sterilizing those who he deemed to be inferior. Back to the quote from Medium, though. However, its racist legacy in pseudoscience remains and appears today as the replacement theory. We've talked about that ad nauseum at this point. The false idea that immigrants or migrants are conspiring with Jews to replace white America. This hateful theory tragically motivated a young man to target patrons of in a supermarket in Buffalo, El Paso at a Target, Christchurch, at a mosque, Oslo in Norway at a socialist camp. And I'm sure there's so much more that I'm forgetting about, but those are the big ones that stick out in my mind.
Oh, Charlottesville too. That was a big. I mean, it wasn't a mass killing, but a woman was killed, and there was chants unite the right.
Yeah.
Jews will not replace us. Being chanted
blood and
down.
soil, all that stuff. Yeah. So this is this is all tied into all that stuff has a history. And unfortunately, one of the guys who established our park system or helped to establish it was a really big, the source material. White nationalists have long seen outdoor spaces as exclusively white spaces. Pete Semi, an associate professor at the Department of Sociology at Chapman University, wrote a book, American Swastika, Inside the White Power Movement's Hidden Spaces of Hate, conducted his first fieldwork hiking and camping with white supremacists in the late 1990s. On one of those trips at Zion National Park in southern Utah, the group he was embedded with identified Zion as having some special Aryan significance. They had talked about wanting to take it over and hang Nazi banners off the huge rock formations there. In this case, the symbolic significance of nature was tied to the nation's purity, and nature was a part of reclaiming the nation.
It's just incredible. Just what people use to be able to justify their beliefs and what they want to do to demonstrate those beliefs. It just we talked earlier about the things that you love to see happen to people when they're in national parks, kind of natural consequences. But the things that really get me upset are thinking about the dumbasses that go in and destroy the rock formations or graffiti stuff just because they're there. And you're just like, what's wrong with people?
Wasn't there like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a guy who pushed over a rock formation that had been standing. Mm-hmm. There was also the one kid who chopped a tree down in the middle of England. Yeah, it's like
that'd been there for 200 years or whatever.
This is why we can't have anything nice, because people are fucking stupid, and you deserve all the bad things that happen to you if you're going to fuck with nature.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for the human beings, is that nature will continue on.
Yeah.
Even if we end up in a nuclear war, nature will bounce back.
Life finds a way.
Yep.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum. Natural spaces are for everyone, but Trump, if he has it his way, they may only be for business interests. We've seen, through our history, the real quick history telling that we just had there, that a lot of people thought it was just for white folks, but Trump doesn't really give a shit about white folks enjoying it either. He just wants businesses to enjoy it. I want the
money.
And when we come back, we're going to chat about what the administration is doing so far to ruin those spaces.
Ugh.
We're back. I wanted to dig into what the Big Beautiful Bill, or the BBB, as Trump has dubbed it, is doing and what it's accomplished very specifically with the national parks in mind. The BBB is gutting the National Park Service, an agency that is already understaffed and already underfunded, by cutting its budget by over $1 billion, which is the largest cut in the agency's 109-year history, an amount that adds up to about 30% decrease in its budget. The National Park Conservation Association estimates that the cuts will lead to the loss of 350 national park sites. So not like the parks themselves, but like sites within the parks, because they can't be maintained anymore. So the parks will get smaller.
Well, there was just an article about this in the Seattle Times, probably in July, but there's an area called the Enchantments. And with the budget cuts, I think they had 7 or 8 rangers that were covering that area. Now it's only 1.
Wow.
And you needed 30 to really properly maintain it.
Insane.
And how we know that people are already going to be with the social media stars that want to be viral and take places, people don't give a shit. They'll just throw plastic bottles everywhere. They're going to go off trail. They're going to ruin things so that other people can't enjoy them.
It really makes me, it really fires me up to think about somebody intentionally destroying a natural space. Like when I was a kid, the neighborhood that I was living in was next to this big patch of woodland, and the county sold it off. And so like one day we're playing in the woods, and I see like these like little yellow tags and orange tags on the trees, and I'm like, what the fuck are these? So we're pulling them down. I don't know what it is. I'm a kid. And then like the next day, like the next weekend, we go back in, they're back up. So like at this point, like it's a game. Like whoever's doing this, we're going to keep fucking with you. And it turns out that it was the people who were going to knock all these trees down and build a senior citizen home or a senior living home on it. And I would intentionally go around and like clean off like where
you're an eco-terrorist.
Yeah, I would go around like scrubbing like where they spray painted stuff and like taking the tags down and like. I mean, when I was in college, I protested a clear cutting, like they were clear cutting woods and shit. Like it means a lot.
Yeah.
Natural spaces mean so much. And
you don't get them back. Like,
yeah, we'll be long gone before any remnants of them ever reappear. Mm-hmm. And these things don't take, they take forever to happen.
Yeah.
Like it takes like 50 days for a tomato plant to grow. Like motherfuckers think that trees are going to grow back. It's not going to happen. We're not going to have them. Mm-hmm. Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. Makes me angry.
Well, it's just even like when you have like just even natural erosion. So delicate arch is amazing, but it will erode and fall down at some point.
Yeah.
And we don't need human beings going around and fucking it up.
Yeah. Back to the story though. In 2023, the MPS, operating a shoestring budget and understaffed parks, managed to bring in $55 billion back into the American economy. The budget in 2025 was $3.1 billion. So what? I don't know. I didn't take the time to do the math, but that's like, I don't know, something like 20 times the amount, something like that, close to that.
Yeah.
The national parks provide the most bang for the buck of any other agency that I could find. And for those keeping track at home, ICE has a budget of over $170 billion in 2025. According to Newsweek, the BBB allocates 250 million acres of public land to be sold in order to pay for the tax cuts that they put forward, and it will be gobbled up by those greedy fucking top 1%ers of our country.
If you make underwet, like if you make $400,000 or more, then you get a tax cut.
It's insane to me that we're auctioning off public land to pay for this shit. Mm-hmm. The Senate Republicans tried to position this sell-off by saying it would, quote, solve the housing crisis. But in reality...
Oh, Mike Lee.
Dude, I can't say the things I want to say. The Senate Republicans tried to position this sell-off by saying it would, quote, solve the housing crisis. But in reality, all it does is open public lands to private investors to drill, build gaudy-ass hotels and Airbnbs, and poison the land around the most sacred spaces in our country. Which brings me back to the aforementioned national parks of the first half where I mentioned Joshua Tree, Arches, and Glacier National, because those are going to be impacted at some of the highest levels. They're going to be removing, the Trump administration is looking to remove the protections from indigenous communities, native flora and fauna in those areas as well. Arches National Park in Utah has been earmarked for drilling less than a quarter of a mile away from the park entrance. And considering the amount of deregulation the administration is advocating for, they're going to be drill baby drilling, ruining water supplies, poisoning local indigenous groups, and ruining some of the most clearest skies, dark skies in all of America. For those of you not familiar, dark sky zones are known for their view of the night sky because they lack smog and light pollution. Mm-hmm. Joshua Tree in California has been increasingly under threat due to climate change and vandalism. Back to your earlier point about how some fucking dipshit wants to come in and sees something beautiful and thinks that, yeah, I should just take that thing out.
Because it's there.
Because it's there, and I'm a human being. Vandalism is going to continue to occur, But now that you have stripped the amount of people who are able to man the posts to make sure that people aren't going around ruining shit for everybody else, that vandalism is only going to pick up even higher now because they have no one there to watch the park. Fuck! Having seen miles and miles of Joshua trees in person, I can attest that their wonderful otherworldly silhouette is something that you cannot help but to look at and fully appreciate just how weird and wonderful the natural world is. And if it doesn't entice you to want to learn more, then all you have to do is look to the next one and the next one and the next one because they're just so incredible. Have you ever seen a Joshua tree before?
I've never been.
Oh, dude. So I didn't go to Joshua Tree National Park, but like where I was at in California once, it was just miles of unbroken pasture of these Joshua trees. And it was like, all right, I don't need to go to the park now. But it was just like, my God, like.
You do, though. You got to support the national parks.
But it's like, these take like 250 years to get to full maturity. Like, these are not some, like, again, you can't just. General Sherman trees aren't just growing. Like, it happens once in a lifetime. It's the oldest living thing on the planet. And you're like, oh, yeah, we should just cut it down.
Yeah, or the great redwoods, and we already are dealing with climate change and fires and stuff like that are decimating these areas too.
Yeah.
And we're just accelerating it by humans fucking it up more.
And I think if I'm remembering this correctly, that the redwoods are like naturally like fire resistant, but the hotter and drier it's getting, the harder it is for them to continue to fight.
And it's cedar, and so cedar, once it catches fire, it burns quickly.
Yeah, it does. I've tried that in my backyard. I had like an old little piece of cedar. It took forever for it to light, but it smelled really good in the fire. Yeah. Imagine. That would be... I mean, because it is part of like one of the oldest like forest systems on the planet too. Like it keeps things in balance.
Yeah.
It keeps things in balance. Glacier National Park in Montana is perhaps the crown jewel in America's national park system.
That's a hot take.
Yeah. Climate change, reversals of environmental protections, pollution from oil drilling fields are wreaking havoc on the wildlife in that area already. Waterways and human populations that have existed there well before the NPS are suffering. Indigenous communities are being poisoned all of the time. When America catches a cold, Native Americans die. It's just how it goes. It's fucking disgusting that this country is doing these things to these beautiful, beautiful spaces. And to know that like they're trying to wipe these spaces out like, really fucking makes me angry because they're going to be selling it off to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
For development. A lot of I think I forget what the report said exactly, but the spaces that they're selling off are so far remote and removed from other civilization that the amount of development that you'd have to do to connect them to existing housing communities is billions of dollars of development. So if you're cutting all this federal aid to these states, you're not relying on the federal government or state governments to do it. You're relying on private investors. So like they're creating the libertarian fucking wet dream that they've always wanted. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking,
Well, I think the point that I'm coming to right now is I just feel really helpless of what can I do to try to preserve this, not only for myself and my family and my friends, but for everybody. It's so incredible. I love describing to students I work with some national parks and just how incredible they are. Or even just when people don't know that Mount Rainier is in Seattle, just like, look, like on a clear day, you can see this beautiful 13,000-foot volcano. And you can go up and you can get different views the closer you get down to it. And it's incredible. You need to do that at some point in your life. Just go down and check out some of these spots because that's what makes America really beautiful is that you have, it's so diverse in not only clearly the human population, but also just from the canyons, from, the Rocky Mountains.
From the mountains to the prairie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
I love that. But no, you're right. Like we did Rainier when we were out there. We didn't get to the top. We didn't summit or anything like that. But we got to the mountain. We did a bunch of trails near it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. What was the one in Oregon?
There's Mount Hood.
Yeah, Hood. Yeah. So we did the Hood complex and all that other shit. Absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
We did Colorado. What is it? The national park in Colorado, out near Estes Park.
Estes National Park.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. Yeah, that's it. And I was alone by myself, like hiking through the woods, afraid a cougar was going to jump on my back and rip out my throat. But like, it was just like, my God, like, why wouldn't this be? This should it should remain publicly accessible for everyone to enjoy for the rest of eternity, or as long as we don't blow the planet up. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're
You're sounding like a socialist right now, man.
One of the things that really is so upsetting, the reason why I'm stumbling a lot is because it really upsets me. Like we're close to an unrecoverable tipping point.
I've heard that we've been there for like 10 years now, and we're getting closer and closer.
So like, I was reading a report, the IPCC report. I forget what that's short for, but it was published on earth.com. Check out the show links. But it details how the last 20 years, the Earth's oceans have risen at a faster rate than previously thought by scientists. So there are communities that are vanishing on the coasts of different countries, and all of a sudden, like they're like, oh no, this is progressing faster than we thought.
Absolutely. And you think of the barrier reefs. We've got
the bleaching of the reef and all
bleaching of the reef, and what it does with not only in protection for rising sea levels, but storm surges, and then for the biodiversity that's there. I was able to go down to Belize, and that's not super far away from us. That has the second largest barrier reef in the world, and it's incredible. And this stuff not only is aesthetically, pleasuring. We're going back to that pleasuring word, but
Pleasure Valley.
But it's also serves a purpose in protecting the inland, and this is nature's defense against the things that are here to protect us.
Yeah. It's disgusting. John Muir, dubbed the father of the national parks, on top of being a racist and an anti-Semite, once said, "Everybody needs beauty as well as bread, places to play in and pray in, where nature may heal and cheer and give strength to the body and soul alike." And despite his troubling views on indigenous Americans and Jewish people, he's right about one thing. Nature has the ability to heal us. We need to preserve it, prioritize its conservation, and guide future generations to be good stewards, and pressure our politicians to prioritize these spaces so nature can continue to heal us. I love our parks. I'd love to leave you with a Henry Thoreau quote, if I could.
Well, before that, let me just do a public service announcement. It can heal us, but so get your vaccines.
Yeah. Don't rely on that weird mushroom that you found to keep you from getting COVID. Or the
or
weird
chicken pox or any of that.
Yeah. I mean, chicken of the wood is good, but just eat it. Don't use it as medicine.
Exactly.
That way. But Henry Thoreau once said, "If a man walks in the woods for love of them half of each day, he is in danger of being regarded as a loafer. But if he spends his days as a speculator, shearing off those woods and making the earth bald before her time, he is deemed industrious and an enterprising citizen." Be like Henry. Be a loafer. Go visit your fucking nearest park. Do it this weekend. Do it after you hear this. Do it immediately while you're doing this, while you're listening to this podcast. Go to your nearest park. Enjoy everything that it has to offer before the splendor and its healing powers of nature are gone
and
forever.
Most important, try to donate to national parks.
Yes.
Support them. Go volunteer to help clean up, because we're not going to get any help from the national government or elected officials. This is going to be something, it's got to be a grassroots campaign with people that really care and want the national parks for generations to come.
Yeah. It really makes me sad to think about it. Like my nephew, your daughter, not having access to the Everglades if they wanted to, because
No, fuck the Everglades.
Right, but like, it being washed away, or
I mean, Florida can just wash away. I'm good with that.
Yes, get it out of here. Get him out of here, folks. Get him out of here. Cut it off, folks.
No, all jokes aside. No, you're absolutely right. Like it saddens me that there is an opportunity for them to not be able to see something like this. And like you have just said, and these are going to run into kind of my final thoughts, is just like this latest episode has really kind of gotten me fired up and angry about the things that the Trump administration's been doing. But I think Republicans as a whole have been trying to do this for a long time, going back to trying to, drill in Alaska and to try to, extract oil and all the fracking that goes on, throughout the United States for different energy sources when there's opportunities for renewable resources that we can
The Green
use.
New Deal, though, how dare you suggest something like that? That's communism.
With that, but it's also really inspired me to kind of get back in focus, back into getting it, making it simpler and going back to nature and experience. I mean, clearly right now we can't because we're in a government shutdown, but being able to go to Acadia, going to the national parks that are close by, even Shenandoah is not super far away, and even like the Smokies, which are farther away but are incredible.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, well, beloveds, thank you for enjoying another episode of At the Extremes. Do subscribe and share. It goes a long way. Connect with us on Blue Sky at the Extremes Pod. Check the show notes for all the links, including our socials. And until next week.
Educate yourself, bruh.